Gameplay Storytime with Max Monster.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Civilization Storytime. As always, I'm your host, Max Monster, and I'm delighted to have you here today. Now, today we're going to be touching on a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. It's part of my family's tradition, and it's just really important to me, and that is the topic of hunting. Now, I understand that there is a lot of different views about this particular pastime, this particular activity out there. And I just want to let you know, if you are not for the act of hunting, hey, I understand. I get it. There's no hate from me about it. But I do partake in the sport. I do partake in it because of tradition and for a variety of other reasons. And I just wanted to start off by saying that, hey, there's no judgment here if you don't subscribe to that particular activity. I just ask that you respect that I do. But with that context out of the way, let's jump on into it here. So, as mentioned, I've been doing this particular activity since about the time I could walk. I was out in the woods with my father and my brother, and we're really just going on adventures, building memories, and at the end of the day, trying our best to claim the prize that we were after, which was usually white-tailed deer. Now, this is one of those sports where the longer you spend doing it, the more accustomed you become to the sounds and sights and what to watch for and all of that, knowing what is safe and what is not. I start off by saying there is a lot of things that exist in the woods that people are afraid of, noises they are unsure of, and just overall that looming darkness as a whole can be very intimidating in the dense forests. This particular story takes place in Virginia. Now, I lived down there for quite a few years. I attended university down there. It was a great time of my life, and I did a lot of hunting while we were there. My parents had owned a relatively large parcel of land. It was great. Got to go out during the season and really just enjoy my time in nature. And I'll be honest, I do miss it a little bit living in more of a metropolitan area now. But with that said, this instance, it was archery season, and I had my bow, my camos on, was all prepped. It was about 5:30 in the morning. Yes, if you do want to be a hunter, you're going to have the most success if you're willing to get up early and put your time in. But I digress. So I'm out there, and I go to my hunting spot. My father drops me off. He says, all right, you're just going to walk about 100 yards in front of you. The tree stand is going to be there ready for you. Just climb on up, get ready for light, and pay attention, okay? And so I said, yep, sure, no problem. I had never been to this particular site before, so I was a little unsure of exactly where to go. If it's not very obvious, I'm not the best with directions of places I have never been before. But that being said, I was bound and determined to try my best, and that is, gosh darn it, that is what I did. So it's pitch black out. My phone at the time did not have a flashlight on it, so I was just kind of strolling through the dark. I didn't have a flashlight with me, and lo and behold, this easy 100-yard walk, I could not find this gosh darn tree stand. And that's a bit of a problem. So I'm looking around, and I just can't find this darn thing. I don't know where it is. I don't know what to do. I look. I'm just like, at this point in time, Dad's already gotten to his part of where the woods where he is going to be taking his stand. And I didn't want to bother him about that, especially not something that was so easy. And to be frank, I really just didn't want to look foolish. I feel like everybody can kind of respect that, especially in front of your parents. But again, back on topic here, though. So I'm looking around, and I can't find it. It's been like 10 minutes of searching up and down every tree I can possibly think of. And it was at that moment that I heard a noise. A noise that, for any experienced woodsman, should send a chill down your spine. As mentioned, there's a lot of noises in the woods that are completely harmless. They are just various creatures doing their wake up routine or whatever it happens to be. not to be afraid of. This particular noise is one you should fear. Because what I heard was the distinct noise of a baby bear cub calling out. Now, in Virginia, they have a lot of black bear. And the thing about black bears, in my experience, is that they are very protective. They protect their young probably harder than any of the other bear species out there. And the last thing you want to do is get in between a mother and her cub. I'm sure you have all heard that before, but it is really the absolute worst thing you can do. And if you try it, you're not going to have a good time. If I may quote South Park, you're not going to have a good time. But I heard this noise, and it's even worse because I don't know exactly where it's coming from. I have no idea where I am in the woods. I have no idea. I don't even know where this tree stand is, so I can't even climb up to safety. It is a freaking mess, in short. So I'm frantic. Obviously, like I said, it was archery season. I don't even have a gun to defend myself with. I have a bow and arrow. And that's not going to be much help. So I'm panic stricken. I just basically run to the nearest tree, large tree that I can find. I put my back against it. I just try to keep myself settled down and at ease. And I actually end up seeing this mother bear. And oh my gosh, guys. let me bring it back here very briefly for you. Most of the time, bears you shouldn't be afraid of. They are the most, to be honest, they're very timid creatures unless you get, like I said, get in the way of the mother and the cub, or if they're hungry. But most of the time, you can be louder than they are, and they'll run away from you. They don't want anything to do with humans most of the time. But I happen to be in that unfortunate category where I was in between a mother and its cub. I had no idea where the cub was, but I saw the mother, and she was about 50 yards away from me, this big black silhouette in the darkness, and I was completely and utterly defenseless. Again, no idea where this cub is. If it was on the other side of me, I was fucked. Excuse the language, but that's the best way to put it. And so lo and behold, I just sit there and I watch her. She doesn't move. She just kind of is looking around. You can see the head in the darkness swinging back and forth. And about 10 minutes goes by, and finally she turns and leaves. I never saw the cub. I just saw her. I'm assuming that it must have been on the other side, like away from me somewhere else, other side of me. I don't really know. But what I do know is that is probably the most scared that I have ever been in the woods. Like I said, most of the time, I want to stress this, do not fear bears very much. Obviously, don't be stupid around them, but like they are very, very docile creatures for the most part, unless you mess with them or something that is important to them. So I just want to preface by saying that. But anyways, guys, so that's basically what ended up happening. I did find this tree stand. It took until the crack of dawn for me to actually find it. It was not a very successful hunt, in case you were curious. I did not do well that day. But that is okay. That's how the nature of the game is. But I just want to say this. Do not mess with the wildlife. This is my suggestion. There's a lot of videos out there recently of people walking up to wild animals and just kind of being careless around them, particularly like raccoons. They oftentimes carry a lot of disease, guys. Just let nature be. Leave it alone. Don't poke and prod at it. That's how people usually get into trouble. And like I said, in one of those rare circumstances where I did feel like I was in potentially immediate danger from this bear, it had happened once in well over 20 years that I've been doing this. So just as a little bit of insight to you guys, it's not very common, but also don't push your luck. So, alrighty guys, well, that was just a quick little hunting story that I wanted to share with you all. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Like I said, If you don't subscribe to that way of lifestyle, totally your choice. I do not judge you. But for those of you that listened, I'm curious if you have been hunters, or even if you're just outdoorsmen, hikers, or fishermen, whatever it happens to be. Let me know. I would love to get a little conversation going in the chat down below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, would love a subscription. And honestly, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. And I will be speaking with you all soon. See you.